This is Justin Amazon on Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. And we're looking at the pre-market with a little bit of activity. Looking like it's coming right back down. Well, not really down, but excuse me. Just kind of chopped around, and now it's coming down to around where it closed yesterday. A little bit lower. Looks like it's going to open in the same range. Not much of a gap. Maybe opening actually a little bit lower below some of these lows through here. So could actually sell down a little bit. There's not much. I mean, except for this wick, there's not really much below here. In the last couple of days, there hasn't been. So it could come down, fill the gap a little bit more, maybe come down to one of our other supports. And then you've got this resistance up here, 1578. So that's kind of the range we're looking at. We're still in this area. If we can get down in here, below these lows, take this out, then have a continuation pattern, go a little lower. Or if something looks like it's reversing, then maybe rally up into the 1578 price. So let's get into the day and see what happens. So the opening candle is a similar range candle, or similar from high to low to what we saw like yesterday and close to the open. This candle looks really similar with a little bit of a smaller body than the wicks, but had some selling and bought back up and turned into a positive candle, really close to the open. So this candle did actually take out the lows. There were people selling here. We got some bearish momentum, pre-market, and then it kind of reversed here. But the volume is pretty light, actually lower than yesterday's open. Obviously, the day before's open also. So it looks like there's just some more waiting to see what's going to happen. But it did open below yesterday's lows, so it's a gap down, and it's possible that it could roll down some more. So we've got now kind of a retest of old support in the 5 minute, now new resistance. This could just roll right over right here. The problem is you'd want to get onto a smaller time frame to see if you could just take an evening sort of reversal on a 1 minute, something like that, because it just kind of takes off going a little bit lower. It makes a lower low, a lower high on the very next candle, and then it looks like it's going. Okay, so if anybody had just set up a trade to get in below the low here and above a stop above the high, then you're in, and it's triggered in, and you're just looking for it to roll lower. So this is a great place to just take it lower. Just a wide range on this candle, and our next support is down at 1540, and so that's probably about a 1-to-1, maybe. I think about a 1-to-1, maybe a little bit more to get down there. So then we get this candle, a bullish engulfing candle. Doesn't really bounce off anything we know down here. But if you're in with a stop up here, you're fine. You're down maybe half an hour or something like that. No big deal. It's part of what's going to happen. The trade's going to move around. Okay, now you get a little bit more buying on this candle, real small, low volume, and then another one. And this actually takes out the high here. If your stop was a little bit loose, maybe you're still in, or this could be a second chance to get in for anybody who didn't get in, wants to sell, at another retest of this support, old support, new resistance. It's just kind of starting to push through that a little bit now on this candle. So you really want to see this roll over now if you're still in. If not, I mean, it's right by your stop anyway. So then you throw an upper wick, then roll over. So if people were shorting at the open, they got stopped out here, unless they had a much more conservative stop further up above the pre-market. It did kind of look like a double top. It was breaking down pre-market, ran down here. That would have been probably 2R on that pattern up there. Now you just retest it on a longer term. Well, not longer term, but a few more 5 minutes. And this starts to roll over. So here's an evening sort of reversal. You can get in below the lows of these candles, about 1560, with a stop around 1571, 72, something like that. So $12. And immediately it could have wicked somebody in if they were just going to get in immediately, or if they're still set up a trade, and you're down almost that full risk if you have to stop up here. So May have been stopped out here, definitely stopped on that candle, and it's like, okay, maybe we're gonna actually retest up here a little bit more and then roll over. The selling here is the same place that there was selling yesterday, up here and up here. And this was retesting kind of the old support from the sell-off we had 2 days ago. So this, even though it's not up at a resistance, this could be a good place to sell because we were doing that yesterday. So people who were selling up here made money. They did it again here. They could be doing it here again on this wick. And so we step into the candle, a little bit of a smaller inside candle. A great consolidation here that could break up and go up to the 1578, or just could roll down, and then it kind of rolls down a little bit, but throws a lower wick. Still looks like some consolidation inside candles, and then it starts to drop a little bit more. And it's just kind of really choppy. I mean, there wasn't so much of a signal and weren't really some small candles. This is the smallest candle we've had, and this could be a good place to sell, so if you were to get in with a trigger here to go bearish with a stop up here or up here, you're probably in. You might be down slightly, and then you're starting to get some rollover here. So this looks more like a double top now. You have somewhat of an even star reversal that's starting to really work here. Or if you were in off of these candles with a stop up here, you're up maybe almost an R, something like that. So we're coming right back down into this support, and we get there and then go through it. Oops. So you come down in here and you're through that support, but you're still kind of hanging on to some of these areas, these lows. You put in a low here, put in a little bit of a higher low here, and you're not through that one yet. So you really want to see this roll back down and push into 1560 and then get further through that, but take some profit. So this consolidation was nice. You wanted this to break bearish. It's breaking bullish. This is a time where it's like, okay, it's not really working. It's just been kind of choppy. If you're still in, if you didn't take anything, then you move your stop up here. Maybe you're locking in break even, and it just kind of throws an upper wick and just chops some more. So really choppy day so far. And on these days where it's like you can't really get a good direction, even if this is a double top with a retest of the neckline, and now it's starting to roll down. Let's see if it actually goes down, starts to roll down, comes down to this potential support, or this here, and starts to bounce a little bit on these candles, where we had this low from yesterday. So this is kind of the range that we're in now for here, close to in here, that we're kind of holding so far. So you got a high here, a lower high. I don't know if I call this a lower high yet. Let's see if it kind of pivots again. Okay, so that'd be a lower high. So a little bit of a triangle shape forming with a flat bottom. And, we really want to see this push really strongly through. We don't have very much volume at all through the day here. Nothing that really says, okay, here's where the momentum's taking us. So, you just start to watch this triangle and get a tighter and tighter risk to reward waiting for a breakout. And so you have similar candles here that are reversing. You've got lows that are 2 cents off from each other on these two candles. This one is a bullish engulfing because this one has a lower, right? Oh no, sorry, it's 2 cents either way. This candle is 2 cents higher, the low is 2 cents higher. So it's not an engulfing. But you got a squeeze forming, losing bearish momentum. Okay, you still got your lower highs, still got a flat bottom. But your risk right now is probably around, 1567 by 1560, something like that. So we'll see that continue. It's continue. Okay, here's a breakout. So we had this 1567 up here. We're breaking through that. We're right here into this low. We actually took it out a little bit, but maybe you're in. Or if you're not, you want to pull back to 1567 and a stop down at 1561, and you're going to trail that up pretty quickly to 1563. And it doesn't even retest. That just rallies. So there's some consolidation through here. Similar to some consolidation yesterday, just didn't really get such much momentum. Today we actually got it, and we push up right on through 1578, which is great. Had the squeeze trigger, 4 candles into the squeeze, and it starts to kind of roll over a little bit, and then pushes on through. So there wasn't much of a signal here to get out other than this is a good resistance to take some profit if you were nimble enough to do that. Now we are making a higher high in the day. We made a higher high than the pivots here and here, but we've got this resistance. So we'll see if we get going a little bit further above, but we want to make sure we're going to hold that level. So we rolled over from it from below. Now let's see if we retest it from above and hold. So we're straddling it right here and actually kind of reject it again. So this could be a shoulder, this could be a head, this could be a shoulder forming here, and it'll come back down. But instead it pushes up higher. Okay, so now here's our retest from above. And looking left, there's not too much going on in this area other than somewhat of a neckline here. So that, it could be something. You got some of the resistances the day before there. So let's keep going through. Nice consolidation right on top of that old support, or old resistance, new support. And if you're looking to go bullish here, okay, you could do it. You can be aggressive here, but I mean, this was the move from down here up to here. Really, pretty small range in the day. Now you got some more consolidation up here. It's looking a little more promising to actually rally a little more. As long as it holds, as I clicked, I'm like, as long as it holds that support, and it's kind of choppy on it again. So now we're looking like we've got a double top straddling this line, a little bit of a neckline forming there, and it just kind of bounces again. So we're just really chopping around on this level, not much conviction. We're losing our bullish momentum. We formed a squeeze. Now it looks like we're trying to reverse the squeeze. Now we're into some of these indecision candles yesterday. Up here, around the 1585 price, and it doesn't necessarily have to continue, and that's the end of the day. So it actually didn't rally anymore. It actually sold back off, but we're actually above the 1578 price, which is phenomenal. And after hours, it actually kind of rallied up a little bit more. If we look at the daily, we can see we clearly had a bounce with the low down here on the exponential 5 period moving average. The low on the candle is 1552.18. The low on, or the level of the 5 exponential is 151.59. So it didn't quite get down there, even though it really looks like it. Am I reading the right values? Low 1552.18, and then the 5 exponential is 1551. That's crazy how tight that looks. Is this let me zoom in? No, let me zoom in that way. Zoom this way a little more. It's something seems funny. It's sitting right on the cyan line, but it's not showing any sort of gap between there. So anyway, we zoom back out, and oops, must be getting late. Mouse isn't working. It's ready for bed. All right, it's looking like we kind of bounced on this level. We came down into that price, the most recent price as a pivot, where we had some selling from this candle. We came into that a little bit further. We're really right in this candle's range. So the high and open on this were the same, 1561.20, and then the low on this was 1552.18. So it encroached that a little bit. Let's see, the high on this one, yeah, it's still a little bit below where we're at. So a little bit. Anyway, a couple dollars still for some of these candles. Trap people. This is a bullish candle here, but isn't really that strong. It actually opened below yesterday's low, or below yesterday's close. Wicked down and then got bought up for a little bit. But we're right in the same area as we're on some of these smaller candles, and we're here again now. And so if it's really going to go and rally higher, I mean, it had such a large gap and such a large move from the low 1400s all the way up into the 1600s. Pretty phenomenal move in just a matter of days, even though it was earnings, but it just seems like it needs to rest some more. It would give it some more momentum build up from the triangle pattern here on the daily. So we'll see what happens here pretty soon. If we take a look just back at the 5 minute, we saw some consolidation here with the triangle. a flat bottom and a lower highs, and then it consolidated in here and actually gapped up from this close to this open, gapped up a little bit. And so, there's a couple ways you could have set this up, getting in on a move higher above here or on a close above. That would have been on this candle at the close. And then a stop down, maybe below the lows, quickly move that up to this level. So let's go look at the 1240 time. So 1240, the close was, on this candle, the close was 422. And the low over here was 320. So right around $100 on that, 422 to 320. And so you could have gotten in on this candle or on this candle, and it just looked like it ran higher. So it's an exercise of patience and trailing your stops. You get up below some of these levels as they're forming. Little bits of pullback, a little bit of pullback, rally. Each one of these looks like I think it's a falling 3, because the candles in between are actually falling. But you have one candle here, then it moves up, 2 candles here, then it moves up, 3 candles here, then it moves up. It's almost like a little bit of a pattern here. 1, 2, 3 5-minute candles. So the direction on this consolidation was bullish. Had you been looking for it to go bearish, hopefully you were not triggered in. But the 1240 price, I mean, the put started to really lose some value right around that time, where it just dropped significantly. And this is the 1600 put, which is actually in the money. If we come back to the 1550 put, let's see how this looks here. Yeah, so this just lost value. Here's your low on the 5, and then here's a higher low, and here's a higher low, and then it just rolls down. And so some of these moves, like in here, it was hard to get a good setup, and then this in here, you don't want to be in the puts. Nothing triggered to, continue on bearish. You had a good resistance from here, 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 and here for all the options there. So, or for the option price. It's just a really good resistance there, just like you see on the daily. We have a good support, through here, 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 and it makes it easier to decide what to do. If you're going to go bullish with that being a support, if you're going to break that support, retest, and then go bearish, it helps you plan what you're going to do. So, had we bought calls on that candle, at 422, then a move up into 6 or 7R, it's around 2R with a stop down here around, was it 3? Well, if we get in here at 425, then 325 is your stop, and that could work. It didn't come back down, retest any, which could have given you a better entry if you were expecting it to go higher. But anyway, so this, if you exit up around, like 625, then that's $200. That's 2R. Or you could go a little higher on this candle, this wick, and that candle corresponds to 145. This one. Yeah, so this one that actually showed, okay, it looks like it's going up, and then it didn't. It just went sideways. So, this was the move. The last time we paused like this, or I should say we didn't have as strong of a move, was back through here. Where it just got chopped around, had some large moves to the downside. That's what we got. We had some large moves to the downside. We've got some chopping around, trying to figure out the direction. I do want to come back in here and draw some lines in, so we should do that this week and see, okay, if we actually consolidate longer, where could this really go? Start to kind of take a piece apart from that. The only other thing I'll point out is this looks like some sort of animal with a hump, and then a neck with some horns, and then some sort of a snout, maybe some sort of a horse shape. I don't know. There's all kinds of shapes people come up with. I don't know if this matches any of those, but just kind of interesting the pattern that we've been looking at and seeing some rallying, seeing this being a retest. Now you got a little bit more of a retest here. If it holds this level, holds these levels, then this could really just grind slowly higher. Or if it pauses here at these resistances here around 1590, and support around here, 1563. I mean, it could be range bound for a number of days too. So we'll take some more, take another look at Amazon and see what we think we can do and figure out how to do the options with it as well. So hope you enjoyed the video. This is Justin Amazon. Thanks.